once you are in here, let me know you're here. And also, in addition to letting me know you're here, tell somebody else you're here by sharing this video. So we are on part two of our 5-part series, The Whole Woman. Last week I just talked about being myself. Okay. Today I am going to touch on being a daughter. Okay. Being a daughter naturally. So when I'm saying like from your mom, your dad, and also what that looks like in my experience as being a daughter of God. So again, once you get into the space, definitely share this. I also first want to say thank you for those that joined in the Bible plan. We are going to be reading the Bible together starting February 9th. So I would love for you to get into that space so that you could be a part of that. I know, some I it's building community and connection. Because and then also additional benefits is you may be in a season where it's hard for you to read your Bible consistently or find pleasure in the word of God. And so depending on the space that you are in, reading this Bible plan together within community is beneficial. It's beneficial on so many levels, but I did want to highlight that specifically. So if you need a jump start, if you're like, look, I started off great. It's I'm struggling a little bit, whatever the case may be. And then also just to be able to be in community sometimes be in community and have that connection because sometimes you may say like, oh, I'm part of a community, but you are missing that connection element. So join us in reading the Bible together. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, but if you go to my website you can join directly from there. Okay, so I hope my hope is that you watched last week's video, but if not, guess what? You can binge watch it or binge listen to it another day in time. Um, let's talk. So, this year, Healing for Her Ministry, we are focusing and dealing with the whole woman. And this particular topic, speaking on being a daughter, is a beautiful experience for some, a hurtful experience from other, a roller coaster experience. Some have no experience because maybe your father was not there. You may not know who he is, your natural father, right? And so I just wanted to talk from that place because oftentimes, uh, some of the things we experience as we become older and then from being a child to a teen to a woman, it's things that being a daughter, it affects and impacts a lot of other things, consciously and subconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly. And so I felt it was important to allow that to be part of this series. So if you don't know, my name is Shy. I am the founder of Healing for Her Ministry, and I do a lot of other stuff. You can go to my website for that. But let's talk about being a daughter. In a post that I made a few days ago, I was like, overall, I feel like I was a good daughter. Okay. And then I noticed I just talked about fathers, but mothers as well, because it could be the same thing regarding just parents in general. So overall, I would give myself a B plus being a daughter. You know, A would to me will be saying perfect. B would be I did my best with what I had, what I knew, what I was able to do, all of the things. And if you could please let me know that you're here in the chat, say hey, whatever it may be. If you have questions or comments along the way, just go ahead and put those in as well. But um, of course, two different perspectives, experiences, being a daughter, actually three, being parented by both parents and then individually in um, the relationships that existed. Um, I would say that I missed out on being a daughter because I had to grow up so fast. And so, um, when I remember and look back at the younger years, being able to hang out, spend a lot of personal time with my dad, growing up, being a young girl. And I'm speaking right now from a three to about age 10. My mother and I had a good relationship to about age, um, I would say about age 10, 11. It was changing right before we moved. So about that time. But I had fun. You know, I had siblings. This was back in the day when you actually your siblings were your friends, your cousins was your friends, and you know, you spent a lot of time in those different things. I realized though there was a lot of moments as being a daughter now. My parents, both my parents have passed. So if you hear me talking, sometimes I may be speaking past tense, but that's the reason. And one, I feel like, not I feel like, one for me, my childhood was cut short. So I feel my experiences after 12, I was a daughter, but I was put into a parent role. So those dynamics changed. But when I think about the younger years, you know, having fun, building relationships, my dad was very protective. He had three daughters. So, you know, very protective. I remember him doing nice, subtle things like for Valentine is coming up, he would buy us, you know, cards, just something small, but to acknowledge that, um, like I said, my mom during that time, her and I had a good mother daughter relationship. But pretty much after the age of 12, I was looking at them like we all the same. Y'all gave me all these responsibilities, so don't try to talk to me like a kid because y'all then gave me these adult roles, right? And so, but speaking first from um, a daughter of a father, my father was in my life. Um, all of my life, I was younger. It was a little different because as I became an adult, he started going MIA. And at first, I didn't know like how to process that. Like you've been in my life all my life, and then now you're just MIA. Like nobody knows where you are, all of the things. And so I remember during that time in my mid late 20s, early 30s, I really needed a father. I remember that. I would often think like if I could just have somebody to talk to, run this through with. In that time of my life, I really, really needed a father. I did. I did. And even if it was whatever it looked like, I don't know, whatever the relationship would have looked like, but a one, you know, a healthy one, I needed my father during that time. And from the relationships that I was having, just how I was experiencing life, those different things, I didn't have a security blanket. And if you can identify with that, let me know. Like um, feeling like I needed to be protected and covered, and somebody to give me advice whether I wanted to accept it or not. But that male figure, I really needed my father during that season of my life in like a real fatherly way, a manly way, even if it was him just giving his input, uh, just as being a man, whatever. So I do recall that. And if you know my story, after pretty much 12, me and my mom did not have the best relationship at all. And so being a woman now, being the age that I am, and having these experiences, it does change you. It impacts you. It um, affects how you interact and deal with men, from friendships to relationships, um, how you date, how I dated, and what I notice now and what I can identify now is, some of the weight we carry because we just have to keep moving and keep doing. And when life is happening, you oftentimes don't have a moment where you can pause and do all of the things. If my father was still alive, and we wasn't in bad relationship when he passed. Now how he passed, that's a story for another day. But to just be like, hey dad, oh, what's going on, this is what's going on, and this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. And my dad used to laugh a lot, talk, clown, and all of those different things. But what I realized as being, I feel like at every age, a part of you is always going to need or want your parents. And I've even noticed that from people that did not grow up with their parents or have the best relationship. I feel like it's just this built in thing that even, and it used to be confusing, even parents that gave up on their kids or whatever the case may be. All that child wanted was their parent. And so, but fast forwarding to now, um, I would say life would be different if my dad was still alive and we were in relationship and I could have the conversations, and we can laugh and talk, and he can get on my nerves, I get on his nerves, just the different dynamics of um of that relationship. um but I wish I was able to be a daughter longer than just black and white when you look at age. Like, I wish I was able to have experienced my parents, from birth to out of high school, to just as a parent, just having those interactions, nothing major getting in the way. Um, and so I don't dwell that I didn't have that experience. I am who I am because of it. I've healed and, did the work that's necessary. But as a grown woman, I do understand and have identified that no matter the connection, yes, somebody just said it here in the comments, there is a deep connection to our parents, whether good or bad. And when you don't have it, it still affects you. Sometimes we just don't realize it. Um, there was a time when I would say I was a daddy's girl. Um, the period in my life where I really needed my father, he wasn't there. Like, I don't know where he was at. Like, but he wasn't there. And then when he came back in the picture, I didn't hold that against him. Um, I learned a new rhythm. He gonna be around for a few months and then dip out, whatever the case may be. But I embraced those moments, and I'm glad I did because I do have those memories. But I think oftentimes as women, I would let me speak for myself. I, as I'm getting older, I am identifying those pivotal moments in when I'm in saying to myself, well, what do I need right now? Or, what could I be doing right now that those the my parent element comes in. Because if we're not careful, we can also um end up in a place where, like, when my parents died, I felt like I was an orphan. Like, you do my parents are gone, so like I'm just kind of in this world, and again, not the best relationship um with one, on again, off again relationship with the other, but I felt like an orphan. Like, okay, regardless to what the relationships look like now, how do I navigate this? How do I not feel now I'm surrounded by people. God has put some amazing people in my life that have helped me in the role of giving me that motherly and that fatherly advice and extended family God has blessed me with. But that those are real thoughts and feelings and realities. And so I want us to acknowledge that it doesn't just go away because it was at one season or point in our lives. As life goes on, um, it comes up again. If you are a mother and you're with your if you're a mother, whether you're with or not with the child's father, whatever that dynamic look like, the human side of you automatically think about you as a child. And we think about, okay, I didn't have those experiences. I want my child to have those experiences, whether it's by way of the motherly experiences, the fatherly, the both, whatever it may be. And so I just want us to give ourselves for us to acknowledge that those may be parts of that are impacting us or affecting us, and we haven't been able to identify it because we don't stop long enough to say, what is it that I'm really in need of, or what is this feeling that I have, what the who, what, where, when, why, how questions. And so I just encourage us to do that a little bit more. I also my experience, life is what it is. I On the natural side, I could say I was robbed of my childhood, which I was. And I don't have those experience that I see in dynamics of, friends and other people with their uh whether it's one or both parents or whatever the case may be. And a parent is whoever you identify as a parent, that person that raised you, that person that, stepped into that role if it wasn't your natural birth parent or parents. Um, but just being a daughter, being a daughter, being a daughter, and what that means, what that looks like. Being a daughter to me is being able to feel that I can relax more. Like there's a uh, an additional covering that I have, and if I need something fixed or just in need of something, there's someone there that could support, help in whatever way is just additional to what I have or what I don't have. And being a parent, I immediately identified I'm not trying to relive my life through my child. She's gonna have some good experiences, some wonderful experiences. She gonna be sitting on somebody's couch talking about some stuff she didn't like, how she was parented. But what I am aware of, it won't be the same conversations. It won't be from that place, you know, um, that I was sitting on somebody's couch talking about. And so it's not even about being perfect, but as a daughter, I wish I had more time to just be a daughter. Um, when I was in my younger years, um, two, I acknowledge and realize in my mid 20s to early 30s, I really wanted my father. I needed my father. Let me correct that. I needed my father. I just needed that stuff that a father brings. I needed that. And I, way before now, but I also want to acknowledge that I am fully aware that my parents did the best that they could with with the tools and the experiences that they have. They did the best that they knew how and the best that they could. It is what it is. And so um, I say that because I'm aware of that. And also to make note that just because someone is sharing their experiences, um, it does not mean they're trying to take away from, another person or a thing. It's just we have a right to share our experiences and how they impact us negatively and positively. Um, Let me see here. My husband was sharing this with me. He feels alone, although he has me, his family, and God, but there is a void there. How can we help our spouse or friends who is feeling this way? I I I want to. I'm gonna first say I don't know. Fast forward now to give them space because sometimes you may not have the words. I remember when I acknowledged that I had seasonal depression and was always around the holidays. And I realized I was mourning what I didn't have, but it was something that I needed. I wanted to be able to go to my parents' house, actual location that you can go back to. I didn't have a home to go back to. And so I remember like being depressed, staying in the house, and I noticed this pattern. But at first I didn't have words for it. It was just what I was feeling and what I was thinking, right? And so it may take some time for the person to identify what am I really feeling? Like, well, I identify I feel this way, but I don't know why. And it may be in pieces that God gives, the revelation a come, and as we are open, the insight to okay, this is why I'm feeling this way. And now that I know, this is what I'm going to do about it because I can relate to that. I had people around me and I was at home crying because I felt so alone. So I would say continue, keep praying. Anytime that he is sharing, what he's thinking or feeling about that, be open to listening in your own prayer time. Ask God, how to navigate that, how to, be of support and um, in those different things. So that's what I would say to start with. Um, and so I also had to accept the fact that uh, because when you didn't have something, it's easy for you to point it out. And so I would be like, oh, let me check in with my daughter because I don't want her to have this experience, with between a father daughter dynamic. Let me And then I just had to let it be. Like the experience is going to be what it is. As humans, we can grow, get better, and learn. But at the end of the day, I don't want to, from my lack, try to, um, identify a problem where it's really not a problem for her, but for me. You know what I mean? Almost like trying to, again, live your experiences through somebody else. So that's just another sidebar. But I don't know how or why, but dealing with my um, not so healthy relationship with my mom, that was easy for me to navigate. And I think because it was like that for so long, it was just the norm and it was what it was. And I just did, went on and with life. But I will say this as well. Um, Again, I believe that's how God designed us. No matter how the relationship may lack or may not, whatever that may be, um, I do remember, and I know it was God, and I used to acknowledge it and thank God throughout my relationship with my mom. There would be pockets where we had this good relationship. It was like God carved out this, and it every time it happened, it was in those moments where I needed my mother. It would just happen to where we were talking, we were getting along, we were hanging out, and that was a area, a time in my life where I needed that help, that support, whatever it may be. And I say God would do that. I said for me, but I my belief is that was for both of us, and it was God because there was never any friction. It was always peace. It was always receptive on both ends, but God would carve out these moments of time throughout the years where we had uh, a seamless mother daughter bond. And so um, I realized, though, even when God was giving me what to talk about, that I often don't even acknowledge myself as a daughter. Like, I remember one of my coworkers a few years ago, she asked me, that was my buddy, and she was like, do you have parents? And I was like, yeah, how do you think I got here? And she said, no, it's because you never talk about them. She was like, you've never talked about your parents in any capacity at all. And I took a few seconds and I was like, oh, I don't talk about them. And it took for somebody else to help me to acknowledge that. But I did recently just realize that I are you asking why I don't talk about my parents? I just want to make sure so I can answer the question correctly. But I okay. At that point, my father at that point was MIA, and my relationship with my mom, it wasn't one. And so everything that I had going on in my life, it wasn't tied to them. It was I was in that season, I was really with like my godparents, so that part of the family, and so I didn't have, again, after 12, I didn't have a like a full-on childhood. I had to help raise kids and do the thing. And so for me to be a kid, I have to do some stuff that I used to get in trouble for and all of that. So just at that point in my life, they wasn't around. And everything that I was doing, it was no stories to tell because They just wasn't there. And I didn't, I don't even remember talking about like back in the day type stuff. It just was a period of time that I was in. Um, so, which brings me to this. I realized that I don't um, often speak about myself being a daughter. But with that being said, I need this because I'm trying to be free holy this year, and the relationship with me and my mom is estranged, and I talk about my stepmother more. Thank you for your obedience, Shy. You're welcome. And so the thing about it is, I realize I don't acknowledge that I'm a daughter. Like, I'm somebody's daughter, okay? God rest both of their souls, but I am somebody's daughter. I look just like my mama. It's people that never seen me. When they see me, they mouth hit the floor. I look just like my mother, okay? And a lot of my quirks and stuff like that are just like my dad. But what I realized is naturally, since I don't identify myself as a daughter, oftentimes I dismiss being God's daughter, and that I can come to God as a daughter. I can come to God vulnerable. I can come to God with my stuff. I can come to God and cast my cares unto him. Oftentimes I forget that I can do it in that vein of being a daughter, not being shy, a woman, grown up, but Father, help me. Father, and so I'm glad that God brought that to my attention, because now I can come to him in a way that I wasn't able to do naturally. I can come to him in a way, and I know he's going to be there. I know he's going to answer me. I know that when I need to be corrected, he's going to correct me. I know when I need to feel his love and his presence, I'm going to do that. I in what that also has uh done is almost said loosen, but softened. When you can see yourself as a daughter, it's a gentleness that come with that, right? Those of us that if you have a daughter, and I know that's why God gave me a daughter, because if if she was a boy, I would have been real thuggish. But it's this softness that comes out of you, because when you want to heal and do better, and just all of the things. And so being able to identify that I did oftentimes don't even talk about myself as being a daughter just naturally, that it kept me from talking about myself as a daughter to God. And not that I haven't, not that I don't know that, but my belief is that in some you could call it seasons, times, whatever it may be, God is wanting to deal with us from different places. And for me, I believe that God is strongly dealing with me as a daughter, and me coming to him as a father. And so even in that, it's healing the natural stuff that still maybe there's residue or something like that, but for it all to come together. So it made sense that when I was praying, like, okay, what are we doing next year? He said, we're going to focus on the whole woman, the whole woman. The stuff we don't talk about, the stuff that we keep saying we want to do when we're not doing it, just whatever it is, in the different depths, and just all of the stuff. Okay. And so for me, that is something that this is an area that I am being more mindful of, because it wasn't a norm for me. It wasn't a norm. I didn't grow up talking about my parents and experiences. It was when people would ask, like, where'd you come from? then I would have the conversations and the different things. So for me, I my belief is God is dealing with me um strong as his daughter and him being my father. Call on Papa Daddy, Romans 8:15. You did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. That right there. Get in the comments. That's real good. That's real good. But you received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. And so, um, I didn't, any of these topics I'm talking about, I didn't type nothing up. I'm literally in the moment. I'm in the moment of just talking and sharing as it come out. I told God, you give me what to share. Some of the stuff I'm bringing up, I done forgot about. But when you speak to God, you are not convincing him to care. He already does. True. Yes, exactly. And so, for me, I know it's heavy on this the right now in this moment with God. It's uh that daughter, um because I already know how to come to him as just shy. And so I'm loving that because it's different. Um, and when I say it's different, again, it's just the dynamic that I have. And so in this season, and even when both my parents was here, I still had and have a father that I can go to. And I did then, and I still do now. And so for anyone that may be feeling like, um, what do I do? Or maybe in the natural side of things have impacted you so much, the maybe the broken relationship with either parent, or the relationship that no longer is because they're no longer here. Just whatever the dynamic may be, it's just encouraging, and it's encouraging. It is uh it continues to give assurance. It is uplifting. It is a fact that no matter what, God is with us. He's never leaving us. He's never going to forsake us. And He has us. And He has us. And so the beauty in this, but because I shared that I felt like I wasn't able to have my full experience as a child with my parents, is that I'm able to do that now. I'm able to do that now. And I come to him with just my tears. I come to him in saying, Father, I need you. In um those different things, to be able to navigate this, walk through this, and all of the things. And it says, I I cried not too long ago and said, Daddy, hold me, embrace me. I need your fatherly love right now. Boy, did he do it. Such a caring father. Exactly. Exactly. And so I'm loving this experience because now that I'm in a season where I need that fatherly, I'm 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 acknowledging and receiving it in that way right now in this season for myself. Not that I didn't know it before, but being able to identify that, girl, you are a daughter. Like, that's a real thing. And I know I'm not the only one, because what impacts us naturally, just like the spiritual side can flow over to the natural, is that um, it gets acknowledged. You know, the Holy Spirit works through us, and there is revelation and healing in all of those different things. So that's where I'm at in this season. I am um I'm continuing to stand on his word, but again, I have to say it from a place of being a daughter. Like, that's my dad, and I need you in this way. I need you, I need you to talk me down. I need you to love on me. I need you um to wipe my tear. Just everything. But again, I got brought to my, like, I you don't even identify as a daughter. Like, think about that for a second. Not to 100% be able to grasp the thought around being a daughter, because it wasn't fully acknowledged in the natural. So I'm thankful that we have a good father. We have a good father, a good father, that is um, here for us. So remember that we are daughters, not just naturally, but spiritually. And we can ask our Father for the desires of our heart. And He's not going to withhold no good thing from us. He is our Father. And in every capacity, He is going to look out for us. His love is unconditional. His word is edifying, and just leaning into that and then finding that soft spot. Um, Cause I don't want to be a thug all my life. You know what I mean? Like, the girls talk about being in this soft era. I, I'm, this is my daddy's girl era. And then he got to transform some things, right? But just to know that you're a daddy's girl. And when you know that, then you can embrace fully, like when you once you fully understand that, the automatic blessings and the things that come with that. And so it's the being the power behind it. So it's one thing to read the word and then you just reading it, but when you have an understanding of the word, and then when you see the word being worked, like, that's what I'm saying. It's that type of journey and those different things going on. And so my prayer is those that are um, struggling in those relationships. Um, if you're younger than me, get it sooner than me, but I'd rather get it now than not at all, because in this season, I need my Father. And God is amazing. And um, the stillness. Um, I remember one day, maybe like last week, I got up to, start the day, do my devotion, and I just sat and I just cried. I just cried. I just cried. That was better than reading my devotion that day or any scriptures I was going to pull out of that devotion, because He knows what we need. He knows what we need. And if we can just follow that, if we can get in alignment with that, if we can believe that, if we can yield to that, if we can be intentional with carving out time, if we uh, unhealed unhealed pain often speaks louder than present reality. God is deeply committed to healing daughters. Yes, He is. Yes, he is. And even when I see it in the spirit, like once the revelation of it kicks in, is that activation of it's I have this because he is my father. I can do this because he is my father. I am this because he is my father. So we're even changing how we talk to ourselves. What how we talk to ourselves. We're changing how we think about ourselves, and allow God to lead. Allow God to lead. Allow God to lead. And what I mean by that, like I said, I got up to do my routine. I'm gonna get up, get ready for the day. I'm gonna go to my office, uh, get my Bible, get my book, do all the things. And by the time I opened up everything, that's not what I needed. What I needed to do was just cry. What I needed to do was just hear him minister to me. What I needed to do was to feel his presence. So allowing um like following his lead, and no matter the routine, what we're normally used to doing, and all of the things, just allowing him to come in how he needs to come in, because he knows what we need and he knows how to give it to us just like we need it. So um keep me in prayers. I keep y'all in prayer. But talking about being a daughter, um this is what he gave me the topic, and this is what I'm sharing about it. And for myself is um, acknowledging that I am his daughter, like for real, and coming to him as a daughter and getting what I need from him as a father. So um, I thank y'all for sharing y'all insights, and other experiences in the comments. Share this with others. And if you haven't joined in, you can go. I'm gonna put it here because I don't know the direct, but if you go to my website, we're gonna be reading the Bible together. It's a 5-day plan, Bible plan. All you have to do is click on the image where you see it, starting February 9th, and you're going to read it at your own time. Just we're going to do it day by day, and then in the chat at the end you just comment what you learned, or what your takeaway is for that day. But it's for 5 days starting February 9th. I would love for you to join us. We don't have to meet to read it together, but just sometime before the day is over, you read it and share your thoughts or takeaways in the chat, and we do that for until it's completed. So thank y'all for tuning in tonight. And then also, Cry Out is back this year. I For about maybe 2 years, I've gotten away from doing things virtually. So Cry Out will be virtual this year. You can join from the comfort of your home or get with your good girlfriend, and y'all could be a part of Cry Out, which is a worship and prayer service that is going to be in March. um, you'll be able to sign up, just so I can acknowledge that you're going to be a part of it. But if you were there in person last year, God came through, did what he does. The women were blessed. And we prayed. We prayed, we worshiped, we cried out to God, and we're going to do it again this year virtually. So I love for you to join me in March for that reading this month, and then meet up with me next Tuesday, um, for part 3. And I was trying to look at my notes, but I can't. My board fell. So, but join me next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here. let others know, and we are going to continue the conversation. Our focus is the whole woman. So join me next Tuesday for part 3. And before I go, any questions, more comments? I love the feedback and the transparency all up and through the chats. I appreciate y'all. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Sister Brandy. So I will see y'all next Tuesday. Set a reminder. Next Tuesday, if you want to read the Bible plan, February 9th, go to the website to get the direct link so you can be part of the group. And March, Cry Out virtual prayer and worship service. You're welcome. And I thank y'all as well. Have a good night.